You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. It is great to be here today, fresh off a long holiday weekend here in the United States. A lot of fun hanging out with friends and family, but also excited right now today to get into a new week, a fresh start. And that's what our Mindset and Motivation Monday shows are all about. What I try to give you is one topic, something to contemplate for the day or the week, something to work on. So I always try to give you that action plan as well. And today's show is focused on the 3 states of being or the 3 states of mind. So essentially, you can live in any one of these states at any moment, and we always are, at any time during the day. But the problem is this: there's really only one state that's moving us forward in life. The others are causing disruption in both mind and body. So before we tackle those 3 states today, I want you to understand is that what you think in your mind, the thoughts that you think, whether they're coming into the mind or wherever you believe they are, but the thoughts that we think ultimately dictate the actions that we take that reinforce feelings that we want to feel and how we move forward in life. And we're going to really pull that together at the end. But thinking a thought is just a thought until it moves into action, into being. Well, what I found in my practice many, many years ago is this, and I've only found this from working with quite a number of people, is that most of the people that I worked with in my practice before they got well were living in 2 different states. So I want to go through those first, because I suffered from this myself, no doubt about it. And it is. I mean, this is a dis-ease of the mind. The mind is not meant to think like this. So when I first started working with people, and let's include myself in that as well. When I got sick, 17 years old, and I was sick through my early 20s, couldn't get better. You're living in a state of lowered mood. Some people will call it lowered vibration. Refer to it however you'd like. But it's a lowered state of being. You're basically going through life, but knowing that you're not living your best life. That something or someone is holding you back. And we're going to get into that as well. When you look at it this way, you look at it as you are focused on what you don't have or what you used to have. So for example, in my practice, a health-based practice, people are focused on what they don't have in this current moment. Now, they used to have it. So again, when I got sick, what did I used to have? Well, I used to have clarity of thinking. I used to have abundant energy. I used to be able to have a body that didn't ache and it wasn't in pain and it wasn't inflamed. So those are things that I used to have, and I no longer had them. And what did that lead to? Well, it led to a sense of something was missing, and it made me angry, or it made me into a lowered mood, and it made me a little bit depressed. There was no doubt about that. Because why? Well, I was basically every time reminiscing about what I used to have that I no longer have, and I don't see any way possible that I will get back. So what was I doing at that time that so many people are doing right now as you go through your day? You are living in the past. It is one state of being, one state of mind. And as we live in the past, the more we live in the past, the more depressed we get. Now, I'm not saying that these are the only reasons for depression. I'm certainly not saying that, especially as a practitioner who does run labs to look at serotonin levels, to look at dopamine levels, to look at norepinephrine. There are many factors. I mean, your gut health plays into this. Your level of B vitamins plays into this. So there's a lot that goes into this. But what I can tell you is this. If your mind is focused on what you lack but used to have, you are focused in the past. So I also do talk about this in the rain barrel effect under the toxic emotions section of these 9 well, we call them 9 feelings, right? Or 9 emotions. But most of them are in imbalance in our natural state of being, which truly is happiness, contentedness, and really enjoying life for no reason at all. Like it's enjoyment for living. And that's what we're trying to move people towards. So if you are focused on the past, if you're focused on what you don't have, what you used to have, what you lack, you're going to be in a lowered state, both body and mind. You do have to understand that if the mind is depressed, the body follows. I have not seen many people with a depressed, and I don't mean this now necessarily just clinically diagnosed. I mean depressed as in lowered mood. I see most people in a lowered mood with also lowered energy. Now, what's causing what? Well, I believe it ends up becoming a vicious cycle. So we get upset, we're unhappy, we're depressed about something, and it actually depresses our physiology because we know that our psychology, how we think, depresses our physiology. And I've done this with people many, many times. If they are depressed, if they're in a lowered state in that moment, here's what I'll do. I will get them up and I will get them doing 30 jumping jacks, 60 jumping jacks. I'll get them running in place. I'll get them doing mountain climbers, and I'll have them doing frog jumps. Then I'll do something, fun, like they'll get in like a V pose and we'll play some catch with the ball. And then I'll have them sprint down 20 feet and come back. And I'm like, how are you feeling? They're like, out of breath, but great. Why? We took their mind off living in the past. We changed what? Their physiology. I couldn't change their psychology, right? Because I don't own their brain. But I could own their body for a couple minutes, meaning that I can get them moving that body. And as I move that body, it's not just about the endorphins we produce. It's about getting this machine, this organism, this body that we live in, moving. And when we do that, and we get a little out of breath, and we focus on the body rather than the mind, well, what had just happened? Now it's a case of the physiology affecting the psychology. I'll definitely go into this more in the future, but whenever you're feeling a little timid, a little down, literally putting your arms up in the V like a victory, or puffing your chest out, or taking some big deep breaths up, or even like roaring like a lion, believe it or not, all of those things greatly enhance mood or change mood. Now you can try it. You can try it while you're alone. That's okay. Other people might not know what you're doing, but they are unbelievable. So when you're not in the best state, try working on your physiology. It's also why study after study, exercise beats the placebo. Exercise beats antidepressants. So I'm not saying that you can't be on an antidepressant, okay? We help people naturally, but I also support people that are on antidepressants. There's no doubt about that. And so I'm okay. I'm okay with however you want to come in. Remember, I don't judge anyone. I have no judgment. Remember, I had to get through what I had to get through. You have to get through what you have to get through. We can do it together. We can do it naturally, but there might have to be a little bit of give and take and a little bit of a process. So there's one thing to understand, though, that there's multiple ways to work on this. And the healthier that we get the body, the healthier the mind will be as well. So that's why I always say that, the tagline to the Cabral concept is change your body, change your life. Let's start with what we can change. That's our body, right? But let's also start to think about the mind. And I'm going to tell you how to get out of this living in the past in a moment. Now, the other state of being is the other state I see people come in when they're not well. Now, this is not focused on the past. They're not necessarily depressed at all. What they do is they have feelings of anxiety and overwhelm, almost a heightened state of awareness. They're just thinking about everything that could go wrong, everything that may not go right, the what ifs, all of those things. Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I send my kids to the wrong school? What if we buy the wrong home? What if we move to the wrong neighborhood? What if this isn't the perfect person that I should spend my life with? What if this isn't the right diet plan to help me lose weight? It's always the what ifs, the anxiety, the overwhelm. But where is it focused? It's no longer focused in the past. It's far away somewhere in the future. But here's the interesting thing. We have no idea if that future reality will ever take place. But the other thing is this. It most likely will not if you are focused on creating your own future. And we talked about that just 2 weeks ago on a Mindset and Motivation Monday on episode 1235. And you're welcome to go back and listen to that one at stephencabral.com/1235. So here's the thing though. When you are focused into the future, it's called the unknown. The past is not unknown. It's already what happened. So you can be depressed about your past, or you can be depressed about you no longer living in that past. Meaning like the past could have been a good thing. If I look back to it, I loved high school. I loved all those things. They were great. Well, when I got sick, I no longer had that. Couldn't play sports. Couldn't use my mind in the same way to try to do well in school in terms of grades. Couldn't happen. So now I'm looking back at what I didn't have. But some people, they went through a really rough childhood. Well, what's going on there? Well, they're depressed about what happened in childhood, right? Well, the future is different. The future is you future casting what may happen. Now, you may believe it's going to be a lot like your past. You're not happy about that. Or you're trying to move towards a new place in your future, but you don't know because you've never been there before. Now, your past, you've been there. So you can at least take comfort in you know it's coming. Now, that might not be a good thing. You might not be happy about that. But an unknown future, you basically being the first one in your family, let's say, to go off to college, or the first one to graduate from this, or you taking on a new job outside of what you studied in college, whatever it might be, that can be scary. What does it lead to? Well, a lot of times it leads to anxiety, and it leads to feelings of overwhelm. That is another place I see people in all the time, and we have to move away from that. Because here's the thing. You are literally the creator of your future. You're the creator of your future, whether you like it or not. Because every action that you take today, literally every action you take, is going to predict and create your future. Now, people always come back with a rebuttal like, well, I didn't cause that car accident. I didn't cause this. Well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. And we have to get into that a little bit deeper as to, because if you believe in quantum mechanics, if you believe in the physics side of being able to literally attract certain things into your life, almost like a tuning fork, meaning like you are the same vibrational match as that, you may not have necessarily attracted the car accident, but you were in a negative vibration, a negative vibe, a negative wave of being, and you attracted another negative wave of being. It's one way to look at it, but let's just say, okay, maybe that exists, maybe it doesn't exist. Let's talk about this. Something more practical. If you're looking to lose 20 pounds and you say, okay, can I create that predictable future of being 20 pounds less? Absolutely you can, right? First place has to be nutrition. Okay, so let's look at your nutrition. And at the end of the day, did you put in the actions of someone that's looking to lose 20 pounds? You say, well, I was really good until dinner. Well, I was really good till after dinner. Well, at work, that was someone's birthday, and so I had a little bit of cake. Or, I was in a rush this morning, couldn't make a smoothie, so I just grabbed a muffin and a coffee. Well, again, you're creating your future in a very practical way. If you're looking to lose 20 pounds, you just can't be eating muffins. It's just not going to happen. That is not a healthy way to lose that weight and keep it off. So we ask people, we don't say, what are you doing to predict your future? We just say, hey, what's a typical day like? And again, we're not judging. There's no judgment. We want to hear the real truth, because the real truth will help us ease people then into a more relatable and doable future. So if you tell us you're perfect right now, well, what are we going to do to improve on perfection? Probably not a lot. We'll have to then really look at what's going on with thyroid, what's going on with the adrenals, what's going on with blood glucose. Like, we'll have to really dive into that. And we could do that. And we do that anyway, but sometimes it just doesn't have to be that difficult. If we ask people if they're exercising or not, I know whether you really are or not, but people, they don't want to say no. And so they say, well, it's like sometimes I do yoga and sometimes I do this. And I said, okay, like on an average week, what would you say? How many times a week do you do yoga? And again, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. They're like, oh, maybe like 2 to 3 times. And again, for people that exercise, when you exercise, right? Your regimen. I go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I go to do this, and this. People who exercise have a regimen, because that's the only way that you get it done, because everybody's super busy, right? I don't know. Maybe you know someone that isn't super busy. Even the people that I know who are pretty much retired are super busy for most of the time. They find activities to fill their day. Now, there are some people, again, who are not, but very far and few between. So again, this is what we're doing. And so this is just a practical example, right? So another one would be wellness-based. What are you doing on a daily basis to create your future? Well, and you just ask someone, What are you doing? Are you using any nutritional supplements? Are you doing a functional medicine detox? Do you use saunas? Do you exercise? What's your nutrition look like? Do you get 7 to 9 servings of fruit and vegetables? We just ask these questions. What's your overall mindset look like? How stressed are you? How much sleep are you getting at night? And when you start to break it down for people, and that's what I hope to do in this podcast for you, you could say, oh yeah, well, I kind of am stressed. Oh, I'm not getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, minimum. And yeah, my diet could be better. Instead of just having 1 cheat meal a week or maybe 2, there's a little something that slips in every day. And that's not abnormal. Again, it's not abnormal, but I want you to begin to see that it is all of these actions, even if you believe they're small ones, that create our future. And I'm also not one to say that you need to be super rigid, but I am the one to tell you, you do need to be rigid in order to achieve your goals for at least a set period of time. So we typically ask people for 21 days, whether the 21-day detox, the very start of the Candida bacterial overgrowth protocol, whatever it may be. Because at some point, your body needs a system reset. And that system reset re-regulates your cravings, your glucose levels, your hormones. It starts to detoxify at a much faster level. And you need that. You need that system reset. If not, you're always going to deal with the cravings. You're always going to have to deal with it. So you might as well do it now and do it once and then move forward. So that's how we look at it. But I just want to wrap things around with this point before I move on, is that you're always either moving forward in life towards your goals or you're moving backwards. Now there's one place, and that's status quo. And that's if you always do the things that you've always done, you'll always get the results you've always gotten. So if you always do the things you've always done, you'll always get the results you've always gotten. And if you're good with that in life, well then, congratulations. You've figured it out for you. You're in a happy spot. And that's what I want for everyone. So if status quo on a daily basis, remember, we're not static beings. Every once in a while, everyone has a bad day. I'm included in that for sure, right? But if for the most part, you're happy and you have a schedule and you have your goals and everything's set, keep doing. That's when you keep doing the same actions every day, right? That without a doubt, that's what you want. You want to find your blueprint. I found that with my exercise. I found that with my nutrition. I wrote it down. And I say, if I ever, because I'm always experimenting, and I said, if I ever, start to not feel well, I'm going back to this place that I did for a couple months at least, that I know works great for my body. And so that's what I did. Now, again, do I veer off from that? Well, I veer off from it, but not too far. I only test one variable at a time because the most important thing to me really is my mindset. And again, as I said in the beginning of this, and my energy levels. If I'm in a great mood mindset-wise, my body feels great. If I am in a lowered mood, a depressed mood, whether from anxiety or from looking back on something, I'm in a lowered energetic being. So what I do is I work on the right nutrition, the right sleep. I know how much my body needs. I've explained that on previous shows, and I work with that. Now, what will I try? Well, I'll try maybe a little bit more exercise when I'm training for something. Or what I'll try is a couple tweaks in my diet plan, but my supplements will always stay the same. My sleep will stay the same, but I'll tweak the diet then a little bit. And those are the things that I'll begin to play with. But what am I doing? Well, what I'm really doing right now is focused on a goal in the future. So we're going to break this down now, close the show like this. The very first thing we need to do to get out of a depressed state of living in the past or looking back to the past is we need to create an idea for a future that is so much greater than it is today. Or at least a big step forward to a place that you would love to live in. That's what you need for your future. That's what we all need. I still have that. I still have goals without a doubt. So set the goal for yourself and make it be a happy goal. Don't make it be to avoid a pain. Make it to move towards a pleasure, because you can either focus on the pleasure or you can focus on the pain. And if you're focused on avoiding the pain, you're still focused on the pain, which means I need you to focus on the opposite of the pain, whatever it is, relationship, spirituality, career, body, health. Move towards the positive vantage point of that. So if you are looking to improve your overall health or even improve your overall mood, focused on the happy state of being that you are moving towards. And you might say, well, that's ridiculous. If I could be happy or I wanted to be happy, I'd already be happy by now. Well, maybe. Or maybe you're caught right now in a mindset loop of being unhappy. And that happens all the time. That's why we have neurolinguistic programming. That's why we have emotional freedom technique. We have cognitive behavioral therapy. We have all of these therapies. And you can use them. And I don't disagree with using them at all. I absolutely believe on working the body in all different points. Now, you have to address, are you B vitamin deficient? Are you protein deficient? Are you iron deficient? Like all of those things. Are you low thyroid? If you're low thyroid, you're going to be most likely lowered mood. If your cortisol levels are low, you're going to be in a more of a depressed state because your body's in a depressed state. I was there. I felt the difference. I feel the difference today. If you're lower testosterone, you're going to be in a lowered mood. It doesn't mean that you need to do testosterone replacement therapy. It means that you need to boost it naturally. So here's what I want you to do. Create a future of what you want your world to look like. And don't edit it. Create a future, the exact future that you want. Then go back to the previous Motivation and Mindset Mondays. Look at how you can chunk things down. You can look at it from a yearly standpoint, and maybe it's a 5-year plan. Then each year, what are your milestones? Then break it down to quarters, okay? Then break it down to each month. Then each week of the month. And then what do you do? Because it's the only thing that you can do today. If you take care of your days, they take care of the weeks take care of the months take care of the years. And that ultimately becomes your life, and it is your future. You are creating your future. You are moving forward. The easiest way to see that is you set yourself for something like a certification, or you go back to school, and if you keep just passing those classes and taking the classes and all the things that you need to do, you walk away in 6 months, 2 years, 4 years with a degree, whatever you're looking to do, certifications or schooling. Well, you created that. Nobody else did. You had to do the work. When did you do the work? On a daily basis. You didn't do it all at once. Same with 20-pound weight loss. You're going to lose 20 pounds the next week? You are not. And if you did, you'd gain it back. It's too much to lose in 1 week. The only people I've seen lose near that much are 400 to 500 pounds. And when you look at that, well, you're like, okay, well, that's, when you're looking at 5%, yeah, it's not a huge amount. It's a lot. But sure, if we look at the difference, we'll have someone who's 220 pounds, 200 pounds, lose 7 to 10 pounds in a week. Why? The body's toxic. The body's super inflamed. We can remove that and they'll never gain it back unless they go back to the old style of living. Doesn't mean they can't have a cheat meal. I'm never saying that. Nobody has to be perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I still want to enjoy some pizza. I still want to enjoy some pasta. I still want to enjoy some bread. I still want to enjoy things like that. Okay? But you have to then keep it within control of your body, right? And your diet, all of those things. So here's what I'm saying to you. If you don't like the results that you're getting in life right now, look to see what state of being that you're in right now. What state of mind you're in. Are you looking back as to what the past used to be? Do you mourn for that? Literally, do you look back and say, wow, I wish I was back in, name the place, name the state, name the relationship? Or do you say, I'm worried about doing this because, and now you're living in the future. Worry, anxiety, overwhelm are things that you can't control. You are literally thinking about something that's out of your control. But what you can control is this, the present moment. It's the last state of being. It's the last state of mind. There are 3 main states: past, future, and present. There are many books written about this, right? The Power of Now, one of the most famous ones. But everyone tells you this: live in this present moment. I'm telling you something just slightly different. Plan for your ideal future. Live in the present moment. So all the time I'm thinking about, what do I want to create? Because I do believe that we are beings here creating our life. And it can be as great as you want, but you should have a plan. You have to plan. It really, really is important. One of my favorite quotes is this: fail to plan, plan to fail. That's it. Fail to plan, plan to fail. Meaning that if you didn't create what you want for yourself in your life, you're just kind of moving with the wind. And that maybe it turns out great, maybe. But wouldn't it be better If you set up a vision for what you wanted for your life, and then you didn't worry about it. I set goals for myself, and I really, again, I've learned this, I've read things. I'll tell you right now, everything that I teach to you, I put things together in my own way, but there's been so many great teachers over the years. I've read books that have been translated that are many thousands of years old. I have couple 100-year-old books in my library, and I'm always reading. And people are telling us the same things. I'm now trying to pass that on to you. Is that you can have everything that you want in life. You really can. But what you need to do is set that vision for your future, and then don't get overwhelmed. Simply say, what can I control today that would then lead me towards that future I desire? Thank you so much for tuning into today's Cabral Concept. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the shares. Thank you so much for the listens, the downloads, and of course, if this show is helpful, please do feel free to pass it along to anyone else you believe it could serve. Have an amazing day. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.